You just tuned it in.
Global and worldwide.
Hitting you on the one with no delay. Because it's the Fighter's Voice.
The Fighter's Voice.
With your fighting host, Richard Ortiz.
And the formidable co-host,
Mr. Cole Escobedo. Remember, every fighter has a voice.
Hey, this is Rich Ortiz here with the Fighter's Voice Knockout Radio. We're simply knocking out the competition. We're here in Riverside, California, here at Garcia Boxing Academy. How we doing? Today's guest is Robert Garcia, the one and only Hall of Famer. How we doing, my man?
Thanks for having me, Richard. It's really
hey, man,
an honor to be here.
It's a pleasure. Exactly, because I know your schedule's so difficult. If you can't come to Fresno, Fresno will come to you here at Riverside, California.
That's awesome, man. Thanks for coming.
No, it's a pleasure, man. And watching you work and watching you instruct, I mean, it's almost like therapeutic, man. I mean, because I'm watching you, and almost like when you see a deer cross, you know what I mean? I mean, it's just with grace, man. I mean, not saying that you're a reindeer, but you know exactly what I'm talking about,
right,
man.
No, definitely.
We're not talking about wildlife, man. We're talking about wildlife inside that boxing ring.
Inside the ring. Look, it's a passion. We love it. We've been doing it for many years, and we enjoy every minute of it.
And talking about passion, man, the one and only, the Godfather himself made his way in there, and that's your pops right behind you, man.
My pops is here almost every day, you know, especially sparring days. He comes, you know, he watches the sparring, and whatever advice he could give any of my fighters, they appreciate it. And you know, he wants to have he wants his son to have a winner's team, and that's why he's here. He's here almost every day.
Absolutely, because I'm looking up there at that wall of fame there, and I see the champ there with this belt, nice, ripped, and primed up, and I know your pops had a lot to do with that.
You know, he's the one that made me a champion. You know, when we started boxing in Oxnard out of La Colonia Boxing Club, and we you know, we worked hard. You know, it wasn't easy. You know, my father's first world champion wasn't easy. You know, when politics get involved, and you know, a lot of management, promotional problems, stuff like that. You know, the only reason we probably made it because it's dedication. You know, the dedication my dad has for the sport, making sure I get up at 5 in the morning to go run, and then he would go to work after that, come back from work straight to the gym, still covered in mud and strawberries. He would change his shoes in the gym and train me and a whole bunch of other fighters till 8 p.m. and then, you know, go home, shower up, go to sleep, and next day in the morning, same thing. He did that for well over 20 years.
I saw that story, that story by your brother Mikey, where he's narrating that. I mean, beautiful, heartwarming story. And a lot of people are unaware. A lot of people really don't know exactly what took place. They think, hey, Robert Garcia is just this ultimate trainer and ex-champion, former champion. They don't know that your dad paved the way and the dedication. Back in the day when he was working out in the fields, coming from the field and to his own destination, which is the boxing ring.
I remember there was a lot of people that would tell my dad, you know, you're a field worker, you know, you pick strawberries. How you know, boxing's not for you. Even my dad tells me that even uncles that he had back then that would tell him, you know, forget boxing, you know, just work and do what everybody else does. Coming from Mexico as immigrants, you know, they come to work the fields and that's it. They have nothing else. They can't do anything else. But my dad always had that in mind, you know, I'm going to make a world champion. And not only did he make me a world champion, Fernando Vargas also became a world champion, and obviously he's a big part of Mikey's success also. So you know, now we could say 3 world champions, you know, from a field worker.
Absolutely,
you know, it's something that you got to, you know, admire and respect.
Hey, later with that wall, let's put a whole boxing ring around there. If Donald Trump wants to build that wall, let's build it with ropes like boxing, like a boxing ring, right?
That'd be better, right?
Let's do it, right?
Definitely.
Shoot, there it is right there. Pave the way, man. I mean, that's real talk right there.
That's right.
Had to throw that in there, man, because you kind of led up to that, man. But I want to ask you from day one. I overheard you did you're doing an interview with Showtime. I mean, you had one of your fighters here today. It was media day, and he asked you a question. He said, Robert, when did you start fighting? And I'm going to repeat the question. When did you start falling in love with the sport of boxing?
Look, I started boxing since I was a kid. My first amateur fight was when I was 5 years old. My father always trained me, my sisters, because I have 4 sisters that are around, you know, the same age as me. They're not that much older than me, and I used to spar with all my sisters. I trained with all my sisters, and when I was 5, my father took me to a amateur show, and I had my first amateur fight at 5, and everything started there. look, when I fell in love with the sport, I could probably say when I started training fighters. All my boxing career, since I was a kid, it was more because my dad was the one pushing me to go to the gym, doing nothing but boxing. And there was moments where I kind of disliked the sport, maybe wasn't doing what my friends were doing, playing other sports, doing school activities, and I was never allowed to do that. But, now I got to say that if it wasn't for my dad pushing me that much, I probably would have never become a world champion, or I probably wouldn't be the trainer that I am now. So he taught me a lot, and when at first I could probably say I used to hate going to the gym every day, or there was moments where I wanted to quit. My dad being there with me and forcing me and pushing me to the fullest made me what I am now. And everything I know I learned from him. I'm as a trainer, I think I'm doing better than many other trainers in the world, and I'm very happy, and I know that everything I've done I owe it to my dad.
You're being very humble when you just say better. You're the best in the game. How does that make you feel when people tell you, Robert, you are the best in the game? I mean, there's a whole line of who's who that would love to walk in here, sign papers with you, and be under your supervision, your training. How does that make you feel?
Honestly, look, I don't see myself as being the best, and I don't want to be the best, because if I was the best and I consider myself the best, then that means I wouldn't want to learn anymore. I don't want to. I wouldn't have the passion to do it. Look, I have from world champions like Ramirez to Mikey, Jose Ramirez, Carlos Licona, to guys that are preparing to make a pro debut.
Right.
If I wanted to consider myself the best and let everybody know that I'm the best, then I'd probably just be working with my top world champions, world class fighters. I wouldn't be focusing on pro guys making the pro debuts. I don't see myself as the best. I know there's great trainers out there, and there's trainers that have accomplished so much in boxing that it's going to be hard for me to accomplish as much as they have, but I still have that that desire to keep doing better and keep doing it, and who knows how long I'm going to be. I could do it for another 20 years if I want.
Well, I know your name's been mentioned with the Emmanuel Stewarts, the Angelo Dundees, the Lou Duvas, and that alone, and even the Freddie Roaches, and that alone says a lot for what you're doing, and you're still in top of your game. A fighter's prime has 5 years of its prime. If he's a top-notch fighter, maybe 3 in the era that we live in now. But your prime, you're still going. I mean, you reinvented yourself. You're not in any time, shape, or form going to say, okay, I'm going to call it quits. Your longevity here in the sport.
Look, I started young, and I've been pretty successful from what I'm doing now. I'm only 43 now, and like I told you, I could easily do it for another 20 years, and I'll still be young for boxing. My dad's 74, and he still comes to the gym every day. So I could do it maybe 30 more years if I want.
You go.
But look, I know there's, you mentioned the names, the Dundees, the Lou Duvas,
Manuel Stewart.
Manuel Stewart. I wouldn't even mention my name around those guys, man.
Well, the Fighter's Voice just did today.
Those guys are, those trainers are great trainers. Mexico has had great trainers too, like Nacho Beristain, who
legendary.
I definitely don't want to consider myself in that group. Hopefully, one day, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, hopefully I'm still doing what I'm doing. Hopefully then is when my name could be mentioned among them. I got so much respect for those trainers, and I don't consider myself in that level yet. Well,
you keep doing what you're doing. We're going to have to get a bigger building because we're going to have to put all the champions all the way around here, man. I mean, if you make it up on top right here with any one of those bouts, you're doing well, man. And I like that. I like the way it's put together here, man.
Look, that's one thing all my fighters see. On one side, I have all the prospects.
Right.
On the other side, I have all the ones that have become world champions.
Right.
So they know that once they win a title, their picture goes to the other side, and they train hard. You know, that's the only thing they have in their mind. You know, is they want to be up there, or they want their logo. They want their logo in the van.
Yeah.
You know, that's another thing. You know, their logo will go on the van when they're world champions. So that's one thing they're aiming for. You know, and they see the Mikeys, the Abner Mares, Jose Ramirez. You know, they see Licona who was fighting for free in Tijuana last year, a few fights in Tijuana, fighting for free, and gets a title opportunity, becomes a world champion. Those are the real stories. Those are the stories that fighters want to see. And all my young fighters, they see, man, I remember this kid driving every day to the gym, you know, and nobody really cared much about him.
Right.
And now he's a world champion. You know, now that they know, a lot of them didn't even know, you know, this kid was collecting aluminum cans to make money, to make gas money, to drive to Riverside, because he lives in Orange County. That way he could be driving back and forth. He was collecting aluminum cans to get gas money.
And there's
so
where it starts.
Those are good stories.
Before you get in the ring to become a champion, you start becoming a champion of life to be able to get from A to B, to make your own opportunity. And those are great stories. Those are great stories.
Those are our stories that a lot of boxing world people that watch it on TV, they don't know, they don't see the struggles that fighters go through. You know, we have every world champion has a story. You know how they get started.
Every fighter has a voice.
Because look, I'm going to tell you exactly. Every fighter has a voice. Look, boxing is a sport not for the rich or the educated or the ones with college degrees. I don't know if there's any, but if there is, very few have gone through college, through university and stuff like that, and decide to become professional boxers. Boxing is the sport for the poor, for the
Marco Antonio Barrera got a degree. Yeah,
he's got a degree. Yeah,
yes.
One of many.
Yes. One of few. Yes, sir.
So look, that's why and when they become world champions and they start making good paydays, that's all the fans see, because that's when they start seeing them on TV. They don't see all the struggles. They don't see everything they went through. They didn't see the sacrifices that it takes. Exactly.
The losses, not on their record, but in life. The losses of opportunities. I don't want to say opportunities, but losses of just sacrificing themselves to go to practice, to work out the training, and along the way.
Myself, look, I was already a professional fighter when I was in high school. I turned pro at 17. So my whole senior year, I was already a professional fighter, and senior year is probably the best year of a teenager. They want to go to prom, they want to do all the senior activities that they do. Whatever you name it, whatever it is. And I wasn't able to do none of that because I was already fighting. I was already a professional fighter, so I had to go to sleep early. I had to go to the gym every day. So I never did none of that. So all those are sacrifices too. Or when I fought for the title, I already had my two oldest kids. Yeah. They were already born and going to training camps for 2-3 months at a time. Stuff like that is things that people don't know and people don't see.
Exactly.
It takes a lot of sacrifice to be where we're at now.
And I see that, and I'm glad you brought up your kids, because I know your son. I mean, he's exactly where you're at. It's almost a clone, but a younger version of you. I mean, you trust his judgment, you trust his experience, and you trust his know-how, and you continue to educate him, and he also learns from your grandpa. Let's talk about that.
Exactly. Look, my son, Pita, he's junior, but everybody calls him Pita. He's one that, at 23, I could already trust him and send him over to different locations when it comes to fights. If I can make it to one fight, I know he's capable of doing whatever it takes to prepare the fighter and get him ready to get the win. He's here in the gym. He talks to my dad a lot. My dad talks to him a lot. My dad already prepared me. Now he's preparing my son with experience, with knowledge, and he's learning. He's only 23, but he already knows a lot of boxing.
He has a very. I spoke to him. I had the pleasure of talking to him. He has a very high boxing IQ.
He does. He is very smart, and he's one that also has very good eye for choosing talent. He's the one that's found most of my young fighters that we sign and turn pro. He's the one that's told me about him. You know, Dad, this kid right here, we got to go after this kid, and you know, so far, other kids
So far, so
so
good. Hey, I want to ask you this. Abner's fighting. What's your whole take on that? What's your whole take on Davis? Because people seem to think that it's the Davis show.
Look, that's the way they're seeing it. And you know, it's Davis' first main event on a big TV network. You know, first main event on a big arena. Man, you know, they're gonna be in for a surprise. You know, that's exactly the way they were thinking of Broner when he fought Maidana.
Yes.
The press conference we had a couple of weeks ago here in LA for Davis and Mares, they said the exact same things about Davis that they did a few years back when we had the press conference for Broner Maidana. The exact same things, you know, future world star, pay-per-view star, you know, future this, future that. And everybody knows what happened to Broner with Maidana. So, look, it is a very difficult fight. And, yes, I know we're the underdogs, but Abner wanted that challenge. Abner didn't choose anybody else. They didn't choose Abner either. Abner's the one that called out him and said, look, that's the fight I want.
Let's do this.
Abner wants to challenge himself for a 4th division title. He's already a 3-division champion. He's already going to be recognized as one of the greats from Mexico, but he wants to do what only 3 other Mexicans have done, and that's win titles in 4 divisions. Yes. And that's a big challenge. You know, he could have. I told him, I advised him, look, Abner, you know, we had a loss to Leo, which is doesn't matter that we lost. Everybody still was very happy with the fight.
Great performance.
Exactly, great performance. So I told him, look, we could choose 1 or 2 fights and then go after something big. And he told me, look, Coach, I want to challenge myself. I want to do something that very few think I could do it, and that's move up to 130. I said, all right, well, let's see who's out there. It's like there's only one person I want to fight, and that's Gervonta Davis. So he's the one that made the fight happen, actually.
That's good. He initiated the fight,
Exactly.
taking it in his own hands. And just like we're going to take this in our own hands, we're going to take a commercial break right now. We're going to be coming right back here on the Fighter's Voice Knockout Radio. We're simply knocking out the competition. Remember, every fighter has a voice, and so do you. Hey guys, it's Coltrane from the Fighter's Voice. Don't forget, if you want to grab yourself a t-shirt, we're giving these away for $25 a piece. Front, back, not going to get just a front logo. This is nice, guys. I'm telling you, 25 bucks. Go to our website today. You'll be able to pick one out. You support the show, you support the fans, you support the fighters, and you help show your voice by showing support for the Fighter's Voice, guys. Pick up a t-shirt today.
Hi, I'm Jose Ramirez.
I'm Bob Arum.
Hi, I'm Robert Garcia, and I'm with the Fighter's Voice.
The only radio show knocking out the competition. Fighter's Voice Radio Show.
Hey, Rich Ortiz here with the Fighter's Voice Knockout Radio. I'm your host with the most, Richard Ortiz, knocking out the competition. None of this would be possible without Mr. Robert Garcia here in Riverside, California, making it all happen. Champions don't just walk in, they become champions once they lace them up, put the mouthpiece on, and listen to the man right here, the man, the myth, the legend. Enough said. I'm here with the doctor. I'll call you a doctor instead of a trainer. How's that? How's that platform sound for you?
God, you know, I still, like I told you earlier, it's still too big of a name for you to call me that.
No, man, but you know what?
I'm not ready for that yet.
Very well earned. Let's talk about big challenges. Let's talk about world class. Let's talk about big opportunity. And when I say big opportunity, we're talking about some height, some body mass that Mikey Garcia is giving up to take on this challenge. Now, a lot of people have went left and right and talked about it, and I've stood my guard. I said, I'm Team Garcia all the way. I go, first of all, you got to credit his size of, you know what, just to say, you know what, I want to test myself, I want to challenge myself. What's your whole take on that? And I know you guys had a conversation before.
Look, that's one thing about a fighter that wants to be respected and wants to be recognized as that one that took those challenges. Just like we were talking about Abner earlier, same thing's going on with Mikey. Look, it's a fight that he chose. It's not a fight that they call us. You guys want to fight Aerospans? You guys get an opportunity to fight for a 5-division title. Mikey chose that one. Mikey seen Aerospans fight last February, I believe, when he fought Peterson. And Mikey told us right there while we were watching the fight, Mikey says, you know what, I'm going to fight that guy. I know I could beat him.
He saw something.
He saw something, and at first we were all, Mike, you're a lightweight. Come on, let's wait, give it some time, and when the time is right, yeah, you're gonna be fighting at welterweight. But when the time is right, just like every other fighter has done, Mayweather, Pacquiao, De La Hoya, you name them, they've all done, multiple divisions.
Right.
But when the time is right, and Mike's like, yeah, but I think I can beat him, so I'm gonna go after him. And after his last fight, that's the only fight he wanted. There was nothing, we could have chose that. There was so many different options, but Mikey wanted that fight.
He was definitely in the driver's seat.
And that's what he said, and he called it. He negotiated the fight very well. He's going to his hometown,
yes,
in Dallas to fight him. So that says a lot about Mikey right there.
That says a lot about Mikey and his character. But, he saw something in there. Remember when Sugar Ray Leonard saw something when Marvin Hagler fought the Beast Mugabe? He saw something in there. He was taking those right hands. So he saw something. They trusted him. And like they say, the rest is history. So I see this as a fight going down to simply will. And I see Mikey breaking his will because he's about to take him to uncharted waters. Yes, he's flashy. Yes, he's strong. But he does not have the experience or face the opposition that Mikey Garcia has faced. Is that safe to say?
Look, that's very safe to say. And look, me as a trainer, my father as a trainer, we before we even study our opponents, obviously we know what they've done. We see what they've done. Just like Gervonta Davis has knocked almost every of his opponents out there. Yeah. So that's what we see, that powerful, that flashy, quick, one-punch knockouts. Errol Spence, same thing. That's all people know, they're strong, they knock everybody out. But me as a trainer, my job is to study my opponent. And since the fights have been signed, I've been studying both of our opponents, Davis and Spence. And there's things out there that we're working on that I know we could do to be able to beat our opponents. Spence is very talented, young, very strong, very talented. But there's things there. There's things there that me as a trainer, I got to find and I got to see and I got to work on with Mikey to be able to take the win. Won't be easy. Just like Leonard did it. Wasn't easy when he moved up and fought Hagler. It wasn't easy, but there is things there, and myself, my dad, with Mikey, we're gonna be working on that, and won't be easy, but we're definitely planning on coming up with a win.
Mikey signed up to fight. There's no need for any words or any of this. And I'm looking in the media, and Spence makes some kind of joke about, because he saw Mikey, he made a reference to a kangaroo, made a reference to a substance. There's no need for that. You've already signed to fight, so that means it's already there. It's already ticking. I mean, he's never done that before in any of his opponents. He's trying to get Mikey's head because he knows you didn't pick Mikey. Mikey picked you. So that has to say something to a man. Definitely. When a man wants to fight me, he knows the way I walk, the way I look, the way I move. He's studied me. So it's already starting a process. So I think round one is already Garcia's.
Look, I'm telling you, I people told me about that video where Spence compared Mikey to that kangaroo or whatever. Yeah. Look, if he's saying that means it's already in his head.
Exactly.
And when it comes to the day of the fight, he's going to see a different story. Look, every single one of Mikey's opponents, the last 4 or 5 opponents that we've had since Mikey came back, I think it's been 4 fights. Every single one, obviously great kids, great people. They come and congratulate us, and they've all said the same thing. Man, Mikey's so difficult, so strong. It's so hard to get Mikey once you're inside the ring. Sparring partners that we've had here, we've had welterweights, super welterweight sparring with Mikey, and that's one thing they say after sparring. Man, it's Mike's so difficult, but Mikey doesn't look that difficult on the outside when you're seeing him. But once you're in there, that's when you know how hard Mikey is.
He's a gamer. He's definitely a gamer. Yeah. I've watched him spar here, and I was thinking, okay, that day Mikey must have just been moving around and just wanted some works. But when it came time to fight, he shows up.
Of course, exactly. That's what Mikey is. Yeah. So that's one thing that nobody knows until you've been in the ring with him.
And what they underestimate is power. I mean, have you seen the size of his calves, man? I mean, this where he generates that in that torque, that left hook. Yeah, I'm very excited about that fight. I think he's going to do very well, and he's going to make a lot of non-believers believers.
I think so too.
Make the press eat their words. Exactly. And I'm going out on a limb right here. I say Mikey stops him.
I think so too.
I say Mikey stops him. Talking about stopping, nothing seems to stop the Avenal kid. And we're talking about Jose Carlos Ramirez, man, the WBC junior lightweight champion of the world. I just got to ask you this. How are you going to do it from working one corner and then going the very next day to work another corner, man? Where do you get that energy from?
Look, I love what I do, and I'm looking forward to getting done with Abner that same night, taking my car, drive to Fresno, and be there the next day, because the fights are going to be early in Fresno.
Yes,
so,
very early.
So I'm gonna leave right after Abner's fight and check in, wake up, and get ready to go to the fights. I love what I do. I enjoy it. You know, my son's gonna be with me. Hopefully, my wife and kids could also come along. It's gonna be a great experience. You know, we've been in this kind of situations before, but we split up, and we have, you know, my son go to one fight, I'm in another one, and maybe Chip and my assistant go to another one.
Right.
But this time I'm gonna drive to both fights. It's a little challenge, but it's something that we enjoy. You know, Jose is so dedicated, so focused on becoming great, and you know, this is gonna be his second title defense, but you know, this win is going to take him to the next one, and that's what he knows, that he needs to win to become a better and better fight by fight. And he's, you know, in his mind, there's only one thing, and that's to become great and the best at what he does.
You know what? I want to go into that. There's so much I want to cover that. We're going to take a commercial break right now because I want to do a whole segment. We're going to talk about Jose Ramirez, and we're also going to talk about a certain young man who's on that undercard and the improvement of dedication that he's made. And I'm talking about Isidro Ochoa from Fresno, California.
Right.
I mean, the way he just moves, and we're going to talk about his movement, his able to adapt from right-handed to left-handed. This is Rich Ortiz with the Fighter's Voice Knockout Radio. Will be coming right back here. I'm here with the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, Robert Garcia here in Garcia Academy. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Jose Ramirez.
I'm Bob Arum.
Hi, I'm Robert Garcia, and I'm with the Fighter's Voice.
The only radio show knocking out the competition. Fighter's Voice Radio Show.
Hey everybody, we're back here. Richard Ortiz here with the Fighter's Voice Knockout Radio. I'm your host, and I'm here with the most. This guy right here next to me. If you don't know who he is, you better ask somebody. The one, the only, Mr. Robert Garcia, Boxing Academy, Riverside. Hey, before we went to commercial break, we were talking about Fresno, California. Talking about how you're going to get in your car from Saturday and then drive down to Fresno, California and make that early fight for Sunday. But let's talk about somebody who's the opening act before we get into Jose Ramirez, and that's Isidro Ochoa. Let's talk about his improvement on his dedication, on his weight process, and just his whole work ethic in general.
Look, since Isidro joined my team here in Riverside, he's you know, he stays in camp, he's dedicated, he's working hard, and he's Abner Mares' main sparring partner. So it works out perfect. He's fighting the day after Mares. He's fighting on Jose Ramirez undercard, and he's sparring Abner Mares. You know, how better can it get? You know,
can't get any better than that.
Can't get any better than that. And it's also, and Abner Mares is also preparing to fight Gervonta Davis, which, you know, Isidro is one of those kids that has a little bit of everything.
Of
you
his
know,
tendencies.
he could. He's fast. He's got great combinations, and just like Davis does. So I think, you know, things work out perfectly. You know, he'll be ready for his fight. He's gonna go out and give Fresno fans a great fight, and right before Jose comes into the ring, you guys are gonna get to enjoy and see Isidro fight.
Hey man, well, the Fighter's Voice, we'll be supporting him, watching him, rooting for him, of course, and then it comes on to the main event. Let's talk about that. We talked about the dedication of Jose Ramirez. You talk about him, he's one fight away from just making that step into the big pay-per-view pool. And I'm talking about Crawford. I'm talking about Bud Crawford. I mean, can you see that fight happening soon?
Look, that's a fight that definitely should happen. I think it will happen in the near future, because they both fight for top rank.
Yeah.
They're only a few
easy fight to make.
They're only a few pounds apart, so it's definitely a fight that should happen, because, you know, Jose is not only becoming, you know, a superstar in boxing. He's got a great team behind him. He's got a great manager that's doing a great job and promoting him and building him up to become that star that he is. Crawford already is there, so it would just make such a great fight, you know. But if you know, you're talking about Crawford, that's 7 pounds
Yeah.
difference. I think there's another fight that could be easier to make, or as easy to make, and there's only a 5-pound difference, and that's Lomachenko.
Oh yeah.
I would prefer the Lomachenko fight first, and then move up to welterweight.
Well, that's another fight that's with the same
exactly,
top rank.
Same
that does make
top
sense.
Top rank. I know that even if they haven't mentioned it to us, maybe they still haven't. I don't know if they already mentioned it to Rick, but I know that in their mind, that fight is possible. Lomachenko also wants to be great. He already is one of the best fighters.
He doesn't like body shots.
He's already look. Lomachenko.
Robert, he doesn't like body shots.
Look, we can't scare him.
Okay.
We want him to take the fight.
Okay. Exactly.
I want him to move up to try to challenge himself to get his fourth title in fourth division.
Let's motivate him. Let's get a hold of him and tell him that.
Look, I know Lomachenko personally. I know his manager. They'll fight anybody. They want to fight Mikey. They want to fight Mikey. They really do want to fight Mikey. 140. Jose Ramirez is already a 140 champion. They both fight for top rank. Against Mikey, it's going to be a lot difficult to make.
Yeah.
But Jose Ramirez is there. That's the fight that I would prefer better before a Crawford fight. And I'm not saying because I don't want to fight Crawford. I do want to fight Crawford with Jose. But I want to get Lomachenko first.
That's that manager hat that you have on. I like that, okay? You're not just a trainer. That's that manager. Ladies and gentlemen, we got that for free. I'm over here talking to Bud Crawford, who's simply been in the talks of pound for pound, but the manager side of Robert Garcia, not just the trainer. He went back and said, you know what, let's make this happen with Lomar. He's here with Top Rank. Then let's move up. Let's count our blessings. Let's go up and let's go for it. I like that. See, that's in society. That's a hidden talent, and you just brought it out today.
We've been in this business for so many years. You know, we've learned so much from Mikey, from the fighters that I train and manage. So, you know, we already have our eyes on every possibility out there, and for me, that would be my first choice.
There you go, and that's an excellent choice. I mean, I don't see anybody saying anything different. I think the fans want to see that. I think Ramirez wants to see it. Definitely, fight fans want to see it from all over the world. That can be a big pay-per-view, and that can possibly be one of many. Exactly. Because I don't see it going the way that it's supposed to go on paper or what the fans think. Listen, Ramirez is no joke, man. I've watched the man work. I've never seen him. Like in football, you would say, okay, he dogged a play, or in baseball, he didn't run it out. I've never seen him dog an opportunity to work hard.
Look,
ever.
When he's in the gym, he doesn't want no easy sparring partners. He doesn't want to spar a kid that already did 4 rounds and then they're going to go in there with him tired. He told me since he came, he says, look, I want every guy that I spar, I want him fresh. I want him to come in fresh. I've had him sparring the guys like Virgil Ortiz, who is very, very strong, and he tells me, look,
big kid.
Look, Virgil Ortiz is one of the few that really gives me that work and pushes me to work extra hard. So please make sure I spar Virgil Ortiz more often. He tells me that. Very few fighters will say that. And when it comes to in the fights, my first fight with him against Orozco, you know, there was those rounds where, you know, 8, 9, 10, round number 10, you know, he's fighting, throwing a lot of hundreds of punches per round, you know, 100 punches per round. He's throwing nothing but hard punches. He's also got hit a few times, but he comes to the corner, and I'm worried that he might be getting a little tired because this is my first time working with him, so I don't know him very well yet.
Yeah.
So he comes to the corner, and I ask him, you know, how do you feel? That was a hard round. Like, good, coach. I feel good. And then, that energy that he's got, he brings it to me too, you know, and makes me just work extra hard. You know, he's got a...
Hey, it's contagious. When someone is fired up and feeling that, it's very contagious.
It definitely is.
You know, I'll just throw an example out there. When I do a post-fight interview, and that's after the fight, and you can feel the energy out the fighter, it just becomes contagious.
It is. Contagious. It is. I'm telling you.
Iron sharpens iron.
You know, it was my first fight working with him, so I seen that, and you know, you got to admire things like that.
Yeah, I do admire things like that. I mean, it's motivating. It's an inspiration, too. Who do we got back there?
Brandon right here just clowning me.
Hey, it's okay. We're still going to have the podcast coming on next, and I think Bam Bam would be a great candidate for that podcast. We won't have a swear jar for that. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a swear jar right now. We got about maybe 5 minutes of some clean radio.
That's right.
And then we're going to go into the podcast where all is loose, a big playground to play around in. So talking about playing around in, I mean, he walks into your gym and he's legendary. I spoke to him when he walked in. He goes, no, I'm nothing, man. I'm just a regular. And I said, look at all these youngsters that just turned around and broke their neck. They know when the champion walks in. That doesn't go away.
No,
that's very well
earned. And that's one thing that every fighter in my gym sees that and respects that. We have many world champions that walk in, and everybody feels the same way about not just the welterweights, or not just the ones that are already on pay-per-view, the ones that are 105 pounds also. They respect every single champion that steps into the ring, because that's what they want to be one day.
Exactly. And talking about wanting to be one day, excuse me, trainer, manager, father, husband, son. Now I'm hearing promoter. Let's talk about a boxing event you got coming up here in your area. I believe it's your first professional boxing event you're putting together. Let's talk to us about it.
Look, we've been planning this out for about a year or so. We were looking to find a good location where a casino maybe to make it nice, make it big, but we had a few complications with that. So we got a really nice place here in San Bernardino to do our first Garcia promotion show. We have 6 fights on the card, if I'm not mistaken, and they're all obviously local kids, just to get started. I think with the fight of the talent that I have in my gym, I think we have all the tools, the potential of becoming one of those top promoters out there. It's not easy, to match to a Golden Boy or a Top Rank or those type of promoters. It's not easy, but I think with the talent that we have, we could be there one day. And Mikey himself being self-managed, self-promoted.
Cut the middleman out.
Exactly. He could easily represent Garcia Promotions in his next fight, and start building up the promotion as Mikey as one of the fighters fighting for Garcia Promotions. So to get started with the name of Mikey Garcia, can't get any better.
Hey,
can't get any better.
Exactly, and that's a platform that's going to build, and it's a great feeder program. You have all your fighters here. Why send them all over the world when you can send them in your own slate and take care of them here?
That's
and
exactly
give them
what
work.
I thought. I have so many fighters that have that are not under contract with no promoter, and I thought to myself, I told Mikey, look, Mikey, if we're already going to start doing the promotion, why do we need to bring them to all these promoters? Because I have a relationship with every single promoter in this world.
Yes, you do.
I have fighters with every single promoter, but if we got so much talent, why not, keep it to Garcia Promotions? And we decided that, we're definitely going to take care of them and build them up, and hopefully one day have our first Garcia Promotion world champion. We could already say maybe Licona is part of it, because Mikey was part of getting him that fight, but we still hadn't started that Garcia Promotion yet.
Yeah.
So once we get that going after January 18, then I could consider we got the promoters last night.
Well, the minute you started connecting the dots, it was there. You already started. Now the platform's there. It's documented, and now all the T's are crossed, all the I's are dotted, and I'm looking forward to that. Let us know here at the Fighter's Voice what we can do to help push that promotion any way, shape, or form. We're here for you, man.
It's going to be a great show. Nothing but local kids. You're going to be my ring announcer, aren't you?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So we're there. Definitely. You're going to push for it, right?
I'm going to push for that. Hey,
Look,
I'll be ring announcing and Garcia's promotion, and every fighter has a voice, and so will every fighter that day. I'm going to give it my all, my corazón, my everything, and I appreciate the opportunity, man, because I'm pushing for you, man. I'm not one of those say, okay, I'm pushing for you and take selfies and do all this and that. Man, I really push for Team Garcia, man.
I know. You've always done it.
And when I do that, you got to remember, I hurt feelings along the way. As far as, I thought you were going for this fighter. I thought you were going, hey, man, I call it like I see it, man. I was one of the first ones, and I'll prove that to you. When Julio Cesar Chavez fought Pernell Whitaker, in my hood, I had to say, Chavez did not win. Pernell Whitaker beat him. I mean, it was not a draw. So for me, I had to say that. I said it could have been closer. I figured he gave Julio a boxing lesson. I had to say that because I see it the way I see it. Now,
but it was a draw.
Yeah, it was called a draw.
Well, it was a draw.
It's a draw. No, it's a draw. Well, I mean, it's a draw. But I'm just saying that's what I said.
Chavez didn't lose.
Bro, I'm for Julio Cesar Chavez. I got a picture of Julio getting out of the limousine and holding up Richie in his arm. Yeah, cool. And my mom blessing him. My mom's old school.
Awesome.
Yeah, back in the day. You know what he told my mom? He said he needs to learn Spanish because it was Spanglish.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, serious, man.
Right.
And see, here on the Fighter's Voice Knockout Radio, we can share these stories because it's real talk radio. We're going to wrap up this show right now. We're going to be coming back with the Fighter's Voice Kick-Ass podcast. Don't go anywhere because sky's the limit. a big boxing ring, a big playground to play in. We'll be coming right back, and we're ending the show right now on the Fighter's Voice Knockout Radio, but we'll be coming right back on the Fighter's Voice Kick-Ass Podcast. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a privilege and an opportunity. Remember, every fighter has a voice, and so do you. It's a wrap. Thumbs up for Richie.
Never down for the count. It's just another wrap. Thanks for listening to the Fighter's Voice Radio Show. Catch us again next week.
Same when, same how.
And always stay connected to the Fighter's Voice on social media. So, on behalf of Richard Ortiz, Cole Escovedo, our special guests, and the whole crew right here at the Fighter's Voice Radio Show, saying see ya next week, right here on the Fighter's Voice.